So we're going to start tonight with Tim Murtaugh. He served as communications director for Trump's 2020 campaign. He does have a new book called Swing Hard in Case You Hit It, My Escape from Addiction and Shot at Redemption on the Trump campaign. So Tim, of course we're going to get to your book. I just want to get your reaction today from the president with him, with the House Speaker down in Mar-a-Lago. How do you feel like it went today?
Well, I mean, I think it went just exactly as former President Trump intended it to go. And talking about the trial where jury selection is about to start on Monday, I mean, I think if you take this and then the other three legal actions that are going on against former President Trump, I think the first question that anyone, Republican, Democrat, Independent, or otherwise, should ask themselves is, would any of these things be happening if Donald Trump were not running for president of the United States again? And I think the obvious answer is no, they wouldn't be happening. And then once you arrive at that conclusion, the only possible explanation is that all of this is political. I mean, you just talked about it yourself. You just mentioned it. The underlying actions here that are at issue in this New York case are alleged to have occurred in 2016 and 2017. That's 7 years ago at the most recent. Why on earth would they choose right now, as the beginning of the 2024 campaign really ramps up, to bring these charges and get this trial even started? It is all political. It's political from beginning to end. You have a DA who ran on getting Trump. That's what he promised he was going to do. You have a judge in the case who personally contributed to Joe Biden's campaign in 2020. And a lot of this case relies on the testimony of one, Michael Cohen, who is a perjurer and has an axe to grind against President Trump. Nothing that he says should be taken at face value. And Stormy Daniels, who signed an affidavit in 2018 saying that none of the underlying behavior that's at issue here in this case ever happened. It's political from start to finish.
Okay,
and I believe that even Democrats, if they're honest with themselves, have to admit that.
Okay, I do want to push you a little bit. We watched it today. Do you think he missed an opportunity? Because there was so much attention on Monday. But do voters want to hear about what's happening in Arizona? Do voters want to hear about the border? Do they want to hear about the economy? Do they want to hear about immigration? Do they want to hear about inflation? Did we focus enough about all the issues at hand? Were we way too focused on Monday?
Well, I mean, I think Monday, first of all, this trial is the subject of the first segment of this show. The trial begins on Monday. Why would things not be focused on that the last weekday before the trial begins on Monday? I mean, I think the president President Trump, that is, spends an awful lot of time talking about those other issues that are important to voters. I mean, you don't have to, you can spend time talking about other things at any given moment of the day. I think the way this campaign shapes up, is really, very beneficial to President Trump, because voters have had the opportunity to live through both presidencies. Everyone experienced the 4 years of the Trump presidency, and everyone has now experienced the 4 years of the Biden presidency. When you line these two presidencies up side by side, the Trump presidency, very successful, economy thriving, border secure, the world was at ease. Now you have Biden, the economy is in trouble. We just had inflation report a couple days ago. It's still red hot. Inflation is red hot. The border is, Biden admits it himself, is a chaos, and he's looking around for someone to blame. The world is at war. The world is on fire in various places. Side by side, the Trump presidency wins. So 7 months out, you don't know what's going to happen. But if the election were today, I believe that Donald Trump would be elected president again.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.